Amanda. Awethu. Mata. Each one. Row, young lions, row. No, you should make that noise when I say each one. Row is fine, but each one, teach one. Each one. Yeah. Thank you very much, comrades, chairperson of the session, the convener of the task team of COSAS, members of the COSAS National Congress task team, the South African Democratic Teachers Union leadership, represented here by the chapter of the youth, the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, and all delegates and distinguished guests. Comrades, good afternoon. It is a great honor today. We join you for the 20th National Congress of COSAS, a culmination of a process that has been challenging but also learning curve for those charged with the task of convening this Congress. We are pleased that the National Congress preparatory team executed its mandate diligently, working together with our organizing team. This Congress, comrades, is not just about electing leadership, but more importantly, is about attending to the challenges facing learners at school. We know that as you do so, this will inevitably also serve as a learning platform to prepare you to become better leaders of tomorrow, in whose capable hands we will entrust the legacy of our revolutionary movement and our country. It is therefore fitting that the theme of this Congress is defending the decorum, values, principles, and hegemony of COSAS. COSAS has a rich and proud history as an integral part of the mass democratic movement. This is the organization of Ephraim Mogale, the first president of the Congress of South African Students. This is the organization that laid the base from 1976 upwards, when COSAS was born, to the formation of many important mass democratic formations in the country. And you have some of the living ancestors like Lulu Johnson. I hope if you have time, he do has time, he will also come and grace this conference. Lulu Johnson was arrested when he was young. He spent most of his youth in jail as the president of South African Students. You have come to Mangaung, the revolutionary place where COSAS, under the leadership of the likes of White Mohapi, led COSAS as its president from here in Mangaung. Here in Mangaung and in the Free State, you are in the home of Sipho Motsi, who was brutally killed by the apartheid regime in Odendalsrus. And we went to bury him there. This is the home of COSAS. This is the province of COSAS. COSAS led struggles of the youth when they were not fashionable. You are not in the wrong place, comrades. You are in the right place. You are COSAS when I look at you in the face. You are COSAS when I look at you how you smile. You are COSAS when I look at you how you walk. There's no confusion in my mind. You must not be confused by people who have served and have had their time to lead. And they now want to give you leadership that is out of school. We are not going to accept COSAS that is led by people who are not at school. We want the leadership of COSAS to come from your ranks, from learners, from students. When you ask a president of COSAS, where do you come from? No, I'm on internet with UNISA. No, we want a learner, a student at school who lead militant student struggles. We have led COSAS. We have led COSAS. We led COSAS. When I went to jail, let me strike a personal note here in this province, in Botswana. I was 14 years old. And you are above that age, at your age. There is a prison here, next to where some criminal called Bester had a jail running away from it called Grootfontein prison. We never let COSAS being elders. We've always understood the dynamic relationship between the students in the school premises and outside, that when you leave the school premises, you join the Youth Congress. You don't have to finish, you join it. That's why COSAS formed the UDF. COSAS formed the Congress of South African Trade Unions. COSAS, when it was banned, it is COSAS that led youth struggles in our country, in the youth movement, up until its unbanning. COSAS students swelled the ranks of the youth movement in South Africa. So you are in the right place, comrades. But you are students of a special type because you've got to learn politics whilst you are still at school and lead the student struggles. What did COSAS lead? COSAS led the struggle for anti-corporal punishment in the schools, sexual harassment in the schools, led the struggle for compulsory free education. That was COSAS. Today we talk about sanitary towels, one laptop, one cellular phone. It's a new struggle. The Bella Bill speaks to exactly what COSAS came to represent over the years, to realize our freedom through ascendancy to political power. Bella Bill has been signed by the president and it will be implemented. So, will be implemented in a government of national unity. This government of national unity, comrades, is a tactical intervention. Tactical intervention is so what it means is that we have been shown flames by the voters, but we are not out. We have been given an opportunity which we characterize as suffering a setback. But in that setback, it enabled us to advance the NDR. What is the NDR? The NDR is the Bella Bill. The NDR is NHI. The NDR is about industrialization of this economy, radically so. That is the NDR we are pursuing. But that NDR cannot be fully pursued if we don't safeguard and win political power. And what is political power? Political power is the continued leadership of the ANC in government in order to do all these things I'm talking about. Without political power, you will be sent back 20 years backward. And that is why Ramaphosa, as our president, is leading that government of national unity, which is not a melting pot in itself. We are told that we've got better choices on the table. We say, in terms of those choices and options we've got, what do they represent? Because GNU is open-ended, can be joined by everybody. In its very nature, coalition and GNU governments are constituted not by ideological friends or political parties that are ideologically aligned. They are constituted by rivals. The fact of the matter is that in South Africa, we are in a GNU supply and confidence government with the ANC as the largest party. Even if the DA can walk tomorrow, government won't collapse. Now, revolutionaries and students must have a proper grasp of what is the revolution that is being sold out and a revolution that is being safeguarded. Proper analysis. And I'm not going to give you today. You don't have to shout from the rooftops and of inadequate political, ideological analysis and shout at leaders and insult leaders without proper analysis. You must give answers. Nobody's stopping you to think. You don't need our permission to think, by the way. Don't apologize for thinking. Don't apologize for thinking and shaping the NDR and making submissions. What is at the core of the agenda of the youth in this country today that must be championed by the youth? The Youth League has got an agenda and a program of action that it is leading. We have said to them, don't apologize. But we will never support a youth that is masquerading as ill-disciplined, disrespectful, and equate that to radicalism. Because we only support the youth that is guided by progressive militancy. If you say to us, like Ngudle say, that there is an agenda of neoliberalism, we too are against neoliberalism. We must push it back. We are not for that as the African National Congress. But you've got a bigger task to grapple with concept and understanding where we are. But we are not going to achieve anything by insulting leadership. It has happened in the past. You see, I saw a comrade of the Free State welcoming us into this beautiful province. And then he attacks the secretary of the ANC, Mbalula. What makes it difficult for you to go to the ANC office and meet with the ANC and tell them that they must support COSAS? ANC must support COSAS. And we want a stronger COSAS. We don't want COSAS that becomes puppets of leaders. We want a COSAS that will exist on its own. You are here as students under very difficult circumstances. You have come here, comrades, I've seen you, you are very disciplined. Probably some of you did not eat. And probably some of you ate very late. And probably some of you come from far and will be traveling very far. Do not forget why you are here. You came here to reclaim your organization, COSAS. You must have leadership of COSAS that must lead this important organization. You must lead the youth of our country in the school premises and fight gangsterism and fight for transformation of education. The teachers, SADU, have supported you to hold this Congress. The ANC have supported you. We have not supported you because we want to clone you, to own you. Tomorrow when Mbalula wants to become a big thing in the ANC, he must have his spokesperson, COSAS, singing about Mbalula. We don't want that. Arbatlu rilibeni popagai. Sadi leader at ANC Rbata, you must lead the youth struggles where you are. You must bring that agenda to the ANC and say, Comrade SG, President and whoever, this is what as the Congress of South African Students we want. That Ministry of Basic Education, led by Warube, Faneka Ishugumise COSAS. Don't lament, comrades. You have an organization, you must lead from the front. We will support you. You must lead from the front, but you can't lead without leadership. If you elect leadership that is leaderless, that is not leadership inspired, a youth leader must be a youth leader. Skala kheta ba etapele because le kheta di thomi, because Mbalula o tlile le motho wa mo pokotetse mo pokotho a re mo khetheng. Abanye ba niniki mali idlani mali ni qhubeke le organization. They want to corrupt you. They want to corrupt you, but they will never give you the right politics. You too are inspired by Ephraim Mukhale. You are inspired by Lulu Johnson. You are inspired by different generations of COSAS that have delivered freedom. You will deliver economic freedom in your lifetime through your own ideas. What the ANC wants from COSAS is an organization that is alive. It's an organization that leads student struggles. It's an organization that is at the center. When students ask politics, they must ask them from COSAS. You are going to lead the establishment of SRCs, whatever you call them at high school. You will be there in those struggles. You will be there in the student parent governing bodies. You will be there. You must be there and provide leadership as COSAS. So comrades, don't be confused by the politikitabo mabina utsulo. But baratandi tulo and all of that. We've got an appointment today from this Congress. We've got an appointment. The ANC will work with you in empowering your leadership with political education. We will give you free politics so that you can analyze on your own. You don't think politics is what is said by Mbalula and you pick up politics in the lips of other leaders. You internalize revolutionary theory, understand it properly, and then apply it in practice in terms of what? You don't cram books and think you know politics. Lenin said, no, that's not politics. Politics is what you do without quoting Lenin. One good well, we understand. Politics is about speaking your mind without referring to Marx. Anka bulela Marxism ulilunam. Kaubani ki ruteile anyane ka Marxism. Litlotsa malere dai Grootman utese ule. Umukwile unabulela yi. Maralang kukwel. You must be able to interpret situations and analyze them independently without referring to a textbook. More revolutioning, which we must study them. The youth must learn. And when you have learned politics and theory and all of that, you don't become a braggart about it, but it's a guide to practice. You don't study politics and the theory of the revolution as dogma, but a guide to practice. Asinto ya utsamaya ubreka ka yona. It is something that you use to guide you in terms of what direction you need to take. How do you go about? When you've got to go about this local area called Mangaung, Bloemfontein, and all of that, where you are, you're gonna use a navigation called GPS. How you're gonna go to the next street to the other, it assists you to understand the place. Theory does that. When somebody comes and confuses you and say that GNU is a strategic, important intervention and there's a sellout position, you must be able to apply your mind. Is this comrade correct? On your own, independently. You don't need our permission. You know, comrades, the ANC, let me start in 1990, not long time ago, just to share this briefly with you. In 1990, the ANC came from exile, our leaders, others were in the underground. Our leaders, some of them were in jail. The ANC constituted what is called an internal leadership corps. First, it was led by Walter Sisulu. And then Mandela, Oliver Tambo, and all of them later on came back, and an ANC leadership was elected. And other comrades were still running in the country. And the first thing we did in the country was the signing of the minute that was signed early hours of the morning, which was called the Groteskir Minute. And that Groteskir Minute said we suspend the armed struggle. You can imagine, we were mad because at your age, we were mad not because we were confused that the armed struggle was a tactical intervention. We were mad because we thought that we'll get to Pretoria with guns and bazookas and remove the apartheid regime with what is called an armed seizure of power. Meaning, when you were coming to Bloem this morning, you would have seen all the trucks of the army. We wanted to get to Pretoria with bazookas and AK-47 and install the flag of the ANC black, green and gold in the union buildings. That's what we wanted. And then they came, they said that armed struggle is suspended. We were mad. The youth were mad. The challenge for the youth movement at that time, how do we harness these militants who were led by Peter Mokaba, our president then of the youth, South African Youth Congress? We said, no, our leadership is selling out. How can they suspend the armed struggle? We have had several meetings with the ANC leadership, and they explained to us why it was important to take that position. And that position in itself did not mean the suspension of the armed struggle, the end of struggle in itself. But we said time and space. Is it right? Because the people who are fighting have not disarmed. But we said we suspended the armed struggle, we did not suspend the underground. That is why comrades like Pravin Gordhan, Mac Maharaj, Spiwe Nyanda and them were arrested for a bigger operation that was called Operation Vula. Because when we were talking to the Boers, Oliver Tambo and military high command implemented a bigger operation that prepared to bring arms inside the country and at the same time use the opportunity of the political lull to build the underground. So many arms entered the country, preparing for an armed seizure of power. We didn't know that. We were just mad about the fact that the armed struggle is suspended. That was the first thing that was done. The second thing that was done by our leadership was strategic perspective that defined the process towards the transition to what is called a negotiated political settlement. Joe Slovo, the General Secretary of the Communist Party then, led this document in terms of the strategic perspective. And that is what he did, Comrade Joe Slovo, to implement a process towards transition. There was this document. All of us, Youth League, communists, everybody, even in the ANC, NEC, we had a heated discussion about the transition. And yet there was COSAS on the other side. After the Groteskir minute, we agreed that we'll start negotiations. The negotiations were in full swing. We started with the armed struggle, and then when we went to a conference in Durban, there was the sanctions. Again, when we got to that conference, we were still mad. We said, now you have suspended the armed struggle, now you want us to suspend sanctions. Thabo Mbeki addressed that conference for an hour, convincing the whole conference, even risking not to be elected because he could be said that he was a sellout, and said, comrades, if we don't take this tactical initiative, it will be imposed on us. Let's suspend the sanctions. Whether we like it or not, we have gained enough ground. The process we are in is irreversible. So let's take an initiative to suspend, either than when the sanctions will be suspended, not by us, but by the people who support us and say, no, it is enough. The conference eventually was persuaded and agreed. It was 3:00 in the morning at Durban, Westville, ANC conference, the first conference inside the country. The ANC agreed. We then agreed on the framework towards transition as well. And then we said, okay, when the negotiations resume, we want nothing but modalities of the transference of power. And that was the TRC and the date for the elections. And they killed Chris Hani because they wanted to reverse the irreversible. Chris Hani died. In the midst of that, we had COSAS, we had the switch on and off of the negotiations, but we intensified the mass struggle. It never stopped, the mass struggle. When Chris Hani died, they thought that will stop negotiations and everything else. And Sibuyele 13. They wanted this South Africa to be turned into a civil war. Nelson Mandela and the leadership of the African National Congress never wavered. They said, Chris Hani is not dying in vain. We are proceeding with the struggle. Let us intensify mass mobilization. Let us demand that the immediate announcement of the date of the election. With the death of Chris Hani, the 27th of April was born. Because the leadership of the ANC had a foresight that where we are going to ensuring that we secure political power. And that's what we did. And that's what the leadership did. Now, comrades, once we got into power, we got into a transitional mechanism of a GNU, which was temporary. The National Party did not stay the course there. They left. The first Minister of Finance was Derek Keys, if I'm not mistaken. And then we had two deputy presidents, Thabo Mbeki as well as de Klerk. Because the ANC was confident of itself. It was for the first time for us to come into power, and we never had any experience of governments that the National Party and everybody had. And when we got there, we found that this country was bankrupt. We found that South Africa was bankrupt, and then it was facing, in economic terms, what was called a death threat. And that's why COSATU and Communist Party and everybody, they were also mad about gear. Fine, we had the RDP. On the other hand, today they call it 1996 class project. The party and COSATU. And then they call it a neoliberal intervention of the IMF and the World Bank. But let me tell you what happened. We fought. We were on the other side as the Youth League, defending gear. And then we said, gear is not cast in stone. It helped us to transition somewhere. What was it? We had the RDP because we are the Father Christmas in this country. We went to the people of this country, go and read the RDPs there on Google. We said we'll give people houses, we'll give them everything, and then we finish by free. We said we'll give you everything for free. Water for free, basic needs for free. RDP. And then we had the minister of RDP in Mandela's office, J. Naidu, who only had his briefcase, but didn't have money to finance the RDP. So we had to think about where are we going to get financial resources to fund the reconstruction and development program. I guess we still have that debate even today, even about the state assets and many other things that are happening now in our country. But what I'm trying to demonstrate with this brief history is that we have never been populist as an organization, and we will never be. These political parties, Zonom Kokwana, Ezivelayo, that is why they will not sustain themselves, because they are formed for a purpose. And that purpose, once it fades away, people have got no answers. ANC was formed because of the National Democratic Revolution. And you comrades need to study that, the NDR. What is the NDR? So that we are at par to understand it. So that's why this ANC, it will die, the ANC, if ever we don't get organized. Coming together today, we are implementing the Nelson Mandela Plan. Mandela, in terms of organizing in the ANC, had a grand plan as the organizer. 5 Mandela Plan, which focused on sectors. Today, we're talking to the student movement. Our revolution, for it to succeed and to be defended, including political power and to transition to economic freedom, needs the youth. It needs you. That's why when the campuses are lost to rivals, we get worried. Now SASCO is winning campuses. We are very happy. They are winning campuses at the wrong time. When we wanted them to win at the right time, we lost them. Because of what? NSFAS. Why is the youth quiet when NSFAS is misusing funds of the students? You must not be quiet. You must not be quiet when you see wrong things in terms of policy implementation. Because maybe we can be sometimes comfortable where we are as political leadership and not see the wrongs. But they say it was NSFAS. But equally, there is a problem of student leadership. I'm concluding now. Student leadership is very important. Ethics, ethical conduct. If SASCO is not going to be different from Abanyabo Nom Kokwa, they are the same. Our leadership position in the campuses will be cyclical. This year we are ngena, next year a chance yabai. Laba bapumile because they are not leading the students in terms of their interest. The first thing when we get into leadership of the students, we want to put our fingers in the cookie jar. SRC budget. Ziabuya. We are about Ziabuya Lapa SRC street bash, student bash. That's what is going to happen. And thereafter, we don't lead the student struggles. When the students come from COSAS, they go to the campuses. They are not assisted there by their SRCs. The SRCs are very busy with many other things. So they end up not to be a difference between SASCO and others. There is only one campus where I know SASCO has been a leader there for a very long time, is Wits University. It's only last year where we lost, but they are back in bigger numbers. But why do we lose campuses? There's no difference. It's a question of student leadership. There must be a difference, comrades, between us and our ideas and those who are opposing us and those that we are opposed to. There must be a difference. It can't be one and the same thing. That the person who's wearing a SASCO t-shirt at the campus and the other one who's wearing a red t-shirt is one and the same thing. It can't be. There must be a difference there. So this must be led by a student movement, the Youth League, and everybody else in providing leadership to the students. And this is what we need to do. Comrades, COSAS has done a lot of things for the youth. We are delighted as the ANC that we have gathered in this manner. And I want to thank the outgoing interim task team. And I want us to give these comrades a good round of applause for the work that they did. When we came in after the national conference of the ANC, the first task on the table was the state of COSAS. There was no COSAS leadership. And I know some of the comrades who were leading COSAS then, Botunga and all of that. And then, the national organizer, Chatlas, or Datlas. Datlas Kingwenya Yakayo. In the trenches of COSAS. These comrades, they are now graduating into the ranks of the Youth League. And in their time, they expressed themselves in their militancy in leading the student struggles. They might have not been perfect in what they did, but when they were given an opportunity, they played their part. That we are not proud of that we did. There's nobody who's perfect. Unless if where now you have left in your entire life, I started leading from the church. So in the church, no mistakes are allowed. So, yeah, comrades have committed. And I want to say in front of you and to those comrades that the ANC appreciate their leadership and they will grow in the ranks of the ANC and in the Youth League as they graduate. And we assembled this team of comrades and we brought them together. And when we brought them together, these comrades, you know, I think this is political talent. It's a jam. You know, there are old songs that you wouldn't know in Ngama 2000. But throwing a good love away, you don't know it now, you'll know it someday. So when I look at this jam, I said, this is the good love. Leadership, here is the leadership. So these were good comrades in the ranks of COSAS. That we gave them a responsibility to lead, not to micromanage them, not to run them. And some of the comrades did not want this to happen. And we had to put our foot down. I'm happy today, for the first time after a long time, we can come to a COSAS conference. But face. At least you know what you want your leaders, but do it peacefully and decently. You don't have to fight for leadership. You are still young to fight for leadership. Don't be like ANC, people who fight who must lead. This conference is peaceful. We are one Tandas. There's somebody who prayed here. And I'm happy that because we will give a good report, Comrade Mdu, to the ANC. I know you comrades come from far. Some of you, we had to get, most of you, permission from your parents to be here. And your parents expect you to land and go back home safe. It has not been easy to bring this conference together. And one comrade of SASCO, the deputy SG of SASCO, have spoken here and he have said that this is an important foundation. This is the beginning. That you will now have a leadership of COSAS, not interim. You know, when we came here, there were two leaders. Others were this side, others were this side. Babeta face. Bantana lili tunya. And then we had to disband all of that. And then start afresh. And from where we have started, we are not saying it's perfect, but this is in the right direction. It's in the right direction. And in your ranks, for the first time, who said that Batuba COSAS Abapas? We got somebody who got many distinctions here. 9 distinctions. Our convener here, Khesha. 9 distinctions. Runane hold the cop. 9 distinctions. We never failed apartheid Bantu education. Now you are studying to a better education. And the Secretary-General of the Youth League was speaking here. And you are going to fight to perfect that education with us and transform it for the better. And we need your ideas. And so we wish you well, comrades, in this work. It has not been easy. It worries us when you can't agree, because most of you, probably you have never been exposed to organization and all of that, but sometimes you must accept guidance and leadership. Your conduct has been impressive. I'm not patronizing you. It's been impressive and orderly, but it does not mean you must not debate issues. You must debate issues, and you must debate them orderly. And I'm giving you this guarantee. The ANC does not have a choice here in this conference who you must elect. Nobody must say, Naki mutu wa Mbalula, ke rumilwe ke Mbalula or lekgete. Umaka, it's a lie. Those who are dropping the name of leadership are doing so in vain. And I'm here speaking on behalf of the ANC. Unali batho ba ratang ho buella ANC ba ipelle go pele ka maemo, and they are not mandated. The only person who's mandated by conference to speak on behalf of the ANC is me. And Hakim Zeke le ampona ke kgethilwe le le teng ba ne le siko le bone TV o re mbaksu kene tsere ANC. And today, libale bane ba sanya, ke libale bane ba sampati ke aba leader. And ke ba leader properly by listening to them. I don't listen to anarchy. I listen to proper people. And where we found that people are busy in this conference with their shenanigans, and we have put our scorpions deep in this conference. We know some of the leaders here who all of a sudden have got money, but these students have slept here with hunger. They were not given food. But the chelete ya ureka bana ba tlile conference ba na le yona iteng chelete. Chelete ya bogodu, chelete ya ditsotsi yona iteng. Bana and the youth have come from far. Batile conference. Abatel chelete if bana liyo na batu aba yin serrekele bana liyo. Aba yin se. Aba yin se kamu kunyata because aba yin se yoro bai faba ba amba banga bai kre. This conference, comrades, is very small for me, let me tell you. I'm used to running conference. You are 1,000 here. These thugs who are doing wrong things here, I'll solve them. And of money, I'm going to give you from the ANC now. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give Mdu Manana 500,000 to buy food. Because when we wanted money for this conference, they did not come and give money for COSAS conference to see. All of a sudden, when you put in they've got money. They don't have money. They don't have money to make COSAS to be stronger. They want their puppets. We don't want puppets, we want the youth. So comrades, feel free. Do what you are supposed to do, Skavalawara. And then be committed and disciplined to this conference. When it is done, we will take the report to the National Executive Committee. We will invite you, those who will be elected, to come and present your plan to the ANC, to President Ramaphosa and the collective, that now, from Mangahu, the Congress of South African Students is awake. We have come here to awaken. We have come here and this is what you are. Thank you very much, comrades, and good luck with your declaration.
If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.